All right. Let's see. Just making sure that I've got everything all accounted for. And let's see. Got that on mute. And then gonna test something. Gonna test the audio library here. And let me see. We're gonna do that. And we're gonna press start. Are you able to hear the music? Is it too loud? Is it too soft? Okay. We will try this and see how it goes. It looks like everything is coming in nice and clear. So I'm going to move this over this way. And it looks like we got a couple people watching, so hey, thanks for being here. I got the camera going today, and I got the background set up, and tags and stuff, and music. If the music is too loud or too soft, let me know in the chat so I can fix it. And if not, we'll go ahead and keep working on this particular shot. And what I should have done is I should have labeled that shot from the other day, but I didn't. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I should have it in my recently watched. That would be watched recently. Do Lilo and Stitch. Watched. Alright, forgive me if the sound is loud. Oh, good. It's still muted. Oh, this should be just... Oh, good. It is still playing. Cool. Just gotta wait for the ad to go through, and then I can find the right scene here. Getting it close. Perfect, there it is. And bracketing keys. I might add a frame where he's lifting his foot up because I don't really have that so far. I have it where his foot is already planted, so I need that lifting pose right in between these two frames. So I'll go ahead and add a frame here. And keep an eye on my chat and stuff. You know what? I'll probably keep an eye on this from my phone. Easier to do from there. And we'll do this and turn my volume all the way down. And now I can see the chat from there. Cool. And go ahead and close that. And now I can just focus on this stuff. Okay. Hopefully the music sounds alright. In fact, I'll check it on my phone and see if I can hear it okay. Close that. And now I can just focus on... Yeah. I think the music sounds alright. Okay. So... working on this. Go ahead and click over here. And we want the pencil. And we're going to get this foot to come up. So the hip is going to be kind of up and out to the side a little bit. More like here. And his body, it's shifting toward that crouch. So let's see where that shoulder is. We'll go ahead and put kind of like a curve. And then this arm is starting to get a little bit more of that weight put on it. So it's going to bow out just a little bit. The chest is going to come forward very slightly. Like so. And this arm is going to be up over here, like that. A little nub. And then we got our fingers in roughly the same position. Okay. And over here we've got the toes. So they're going to start appearing. Right around there. And another one right over here. Like that. Go ahead and mask it just a little bit. And we'll get this curve of the leg coming up and over this way, like that. And you can kind of start to see the start of another toe, along with a little bit of a belly. We'll take this arm and shoulder that he's kind of swinging out this way. And we'll move the fingers. Kind of like this. He's stretching it forward a little bit. So this finger is going to be kind of like this. That one's going to be over there. Got this curve on the front over here. Like that. There. So that's working out. And where did the music go? Come on, music. Maybe if I separate it. Shrink it down a little bit. Put it right about there. Alright. And then getting that ear. The ear's going to start dropping a little bit more. Because it needs to go out of sight soon. And then this ear is going to start rising up a little bit more. Something like that. Oh, I forgot the nails. Gotta get the claws. Like that. And then we got to get his mouth to kind of start coming this way. Come a little more over here. And we'll do the nose. The nose is going to be kind of arcing. Oh, I'm going to have to keep doing this, aren't I? Is there an option to, let me see, settings? No. Close. Doesn't look like there's an option to play all. Alright, so maybe next time what I'll do is I'll download those songs and put them in the library and then just play the library. That's what I may have to do. I thought about doing it earlier, and I was like, oh, but probably just let it play. That hasn't worked. Got the nose. Next song. I'll go ahead and put this up here again. That way I just have to swap browser windows. Color in those eyes. Get a little bit of that belly there. And a little bit of this. And a little bit of that. So that we show the color difference. Alright. And now we can stretch this up just a little bit for a moment. Swap tabs so we keep the music going. Grab that and move it. Okay, and now we can scrub through, so he goes whoop. Yeah. So now we can actually see that weight getting put. I think what I'll do is I'll move everything over just one more. There we go. And then move that to... Oh, there, I guess. And I can play. That feels a little better. Feels like the hip is moving up. Hey, Dylan. Thanks for being here. I am doing a master study, so I'm going frame by frame through a scene from Lilo and Stitch and trying to see how the animators like put the keyframes together in order to make the animation believable and lifelike and stuff. So it's a loose master study, but it's I think it's going all right so far. All right, so I think I've got enough on that front end. Let's keep expanding out to the side here. And if you're curious as to which scene from Lilo and Stitch this is, or maybe you could even guess if you know the film, it's where Nani and Lilo are in the hammock, and Nani is basically telling Lilo goodbye because it's their last night together before Child Protective Services comes and takes Lilo away. And Stitch is watching from the side. He's just been grappling with his feeling of being lost, and so he's got his book with him, but he puts the book down when he sees the two of them in the hammock, and he's kind of curious and just watching them have that interaction together. You can kind of see him start to put some connected dots together in terms of like, oh, maybe this is my family, the one that I'm looking for, or maybe it's my fault that this isn't working out. So you can start to see his internal character growth in this scene. And so when we get to this point, let's see here. What happens when he steps forward? He's got his foot planted. Right about there, I think. Okay, and then he shifts. is he max that shift right there. Okay, so when I'm looking at the keyframes and I'm bracketing through, which you can do on any YouTube video. If you open up a YouTube video and you use the greater than, less than keys, you can go frame by frame through a video as long as you have it on pause, and it'll go frame by frame, so you can. It's really great for animation studies like this. All right, so in this one, his feet are in the same position, but his body is moving. So I'm going to get those feet, and we're going to lock these into place, because these are ultimately what's going to help sell the weight of the pose, is having the feet locked in place. And I'll get that toe curl. A little bit of a toe curl over here. And then over here, that toe, this toe, this toe, and back over here. And then this leg is shifting over this way, so we're going to have this curl up. Like this. And we're going to have this leg bend over this way pretty hard. Get a little bit of this toe curling under that. And then this leg is really more doing this kind of a thing where it's stretched. Thinking about where those hips are and how much they are stretching and swaying. There's gonna be a big shift over here. Like that. And then we're still gonna have this body curve line underneath, but it's just going to have a little more body to it as that hip shifts. And I might even give this a little bit more line. And I might have him sway a little more, just a little bit more this way. And then this, we're going to have the tummy go up over here and lean back. Actually, I might erase this part here. The more I'm looking at it, I think I need to exaggerate it a little more, show more of a weight shift. So we're going to have this line do this kind of a thing. And then have the leg do that. And I'll erase a little bit off of this edge here. Alright, now his hand on the previous frame is over here, and it's going to come up and in. And so it's going to be more like here. And this hand is going to rotate and come back just a little bit more this way to the edge of his body. Somewhere around there. Now that I have these place markers, I can start messing around with the hand position and body. So have his forearm do this kind of a deal. Maybe a little more in. And then sliding it up and over like that. And this shoulder is going to shimmy over this way. To about here. It's going to come down. And then this elbow is going to come up and back. Shimmy down this way. Like that. We got this. This inner shoulder here is gonna kind of pull back. This forearm is gonna come this way. I'm gonna get rid of this gap here, it's throwing me off. There we go. Might even lower the hand just a little bit. Make this arm feel a little more bulky. A lot of this is kind of like trying it out and seeing if it lands. And if it doesn't, you just try again. Hey, Nicole. How's it going? Thanks for being here. So I'm doing an animation study of a scene from Lilo and Stitch. And I'm trying to see how the animators put this together by studying the keyframes. It's a lot of fun. So we're gonna tilt his head a little bit. Actually, his chin only comes out maybe to here. Tilting back this way. And coming down. Just rough placement. We still can't really see his other ear at this point. But we're gonna swing this ear out and back. It's going to come down near his finger. Down over here somewhere. And then swing this. there. Have a little bit of the ear go there. We've got his chest fuzz. His mouth. He's starting to really look sad. We got his nose. Let's go ahead and draw that middle line down the face because I'm afraid I'm gonna lose it. So put this nose up and somewhat close to this side of the head. Gotta click the music again. He's got the nose there. And he's got the eye. I can come down just a little more. Kind of swoops. Does this kind of a motion. This eye. Let me erase the other side because it's throwing me off. Get the nostril. A little bit of this side. And we'll get the eyebrow. He's tilting his head up, so it's going to be up just a little bit more. This side. He's got his nose wrinkles. And his little hair tuft. Then we got his mouth. And we can't forget the teeth. The teeth are a little angled inside his mouth. He's only got two that are visible. We'll shade in the rest dark, just to help us distinguish. And then color in that eye. And this eye. Give him that little bit of a eyebrow ridge. And we're just going to test and see how this is looking. We'll go ahead and play through. I know his hands are missing their fingers there, but I just want to make sure that it looks like he's actually shifting. Might be a little too much of a turn, but we'll see. Hard to tell. If I go here and go back, let's see. It's the eye. That's what's wrong. I'm showing a little too much of a head turn. All right. So we'll come over here. We'll shift this just a little bit. Tie this in. Because we're really not supposed to see a whole lot more of his head on this side. Did that help at all? The eyes are still shifting too much. So here they're here, and here they're there. So I gotta take away some of the body on the eye on this side. Side too, just a little bit. Oh, I forgot his chin too. Or lip. I think it's really more of a lip. Okay. Let's get those fingers. Got that one, got this one, and now we got this one. Claw, claw. Okay, now we'll play through and see how it looks. Do-do-do. Alright. And I forgot I gotta erase this over here. Get a line over this other hand. Like that. Play it again. And get rid of the line going through his face. Cool. Now we can stretch this out. And we can add another keyframe. And let's see what's next here. So he starts twisting his body and reaching for the ground. And lowering himself. I'm gonna see just how much he drops though. A fair amount. Yeah, that's a big change. Should still read well, hopefully. So essentially, this foot is staying the same, so we could keep this here. Got that toe, got this toe, and this toe. And the way the leg curves over the toes is kind of like this. It goes up, in, and over. And then this other foot draws back and is actually kind of up here. So if we could put this toe here and this one back over here and the third one on the outside up over this way. Whoop. That's a little too far. Or like that. Okay, so that one goes there. And this curves in and down. he's like shifting all this stuff. This toe's gonna go there. And then this hand is gonna go here. Right on the inside. Feel free to chat. I will be checking it on and off. It's just a little hard to look and animate at the same time, but I do respond. I am checking it semi-frequently. So now that this leg on the right is bearing all the weight, the torso is shifting over to this leg, and so the shoulder, as it's dropping, is going to be over here, and this arm is actually going to be coming out and starting to reach for the ground. And let's see where that curve is, probably somewhere around here. That. And his head is shifting over this way to counterbalance. Just get the rough placement for the head. And then the ear is going to start swinging out farther. Like this. Make it a little thicker. Have it swing over this way and curve. Same with this side, like that. And then let's see. So this arm is bending this way. And it curves like this. This shoulder, just lower the jaw just a little bit. This shoulder comes arms like this. And then this arm. These claws overlap a little bit. Switch this. There we go. Curve this out a little bit more. Curve this in a little bit more. We got this. Curving this way a little more. There we go. Just a little bit more rounded in some of these shapes. Get some of this color curve in there. This claw right there. This one there. Erase some of this. And then shifting the mouth. Get these eye shapes in here. Change the music. There we go. Squinted eyes. Alright. Something like that. Let's go ahead and play it and see how we're doing. Oh, I forgot the hand wrinkle. And I forgot to erase that one there. Alright. So now we'll play it. Okay, so we'll go back here and go back and forth. Do. Yeah, so he shifts from here to here to here. It's a fairly large hand motion, but the action is going to be happening quickly. All right. Let's go ahead and drag this over. Plop a new keyframe down. At this point, I'm not really worrying about timing and spacing. What I'm really more focused on is just the poses, because you can always arrange your timing and spacing by dragging your drawings, you know, to earlier frames or later frames. That will affect how fast the motion is perceived. Let's see. That's a pretty big change. Go to this one, I guess. Okay. Alright, so this this leg has become the new anchor, and it's bearing a lot of that weight. The hand that's reaching down ends up landing over here. Like that. leg continues through the body, up over here. We start to see his tail, just a little bit. And then so the arc of the back ends up over here. Like that. Corner of the knee is where we get a little bit of that belly ridge. And this foot is still trying to swing itself out of there. Meanwhile, as this foot is doing that, the other hand is getting in the way. So we got the claws coming here. And the forearm shortens a bit. Hey, greetings. Wow, Brazil, huh? That's awesome. Thanks for being here. Doing an animation study. This is a shot that already exists. What I'm doing is I'm trying to understand how the animator put it together. So I'm looking at the keyframes that they've already established, and I'm trying to see if I can capture the essence of the shot. A system called Greater Cartoons. What's that about? Oof. Oh, that's interesting. Kind of like a sharing hub or platform kind of a deal. That's cool. Nice. That sounds really cool. Alright, let's see. How does that look? Yeah, he's definitely sitting closer to camera. I'm just kind of wondering if maybe it's just a little too much change. I was debating whether to go with this frame or the one before it, and I almost wonder if maybe I should have gone with the one before it. Let's see. Get rid of that. Maybe I just need to redraw this line over here. Have it be a little more close. Like that. I mean, he is getting closer. And that arm does need to take more weight. Maybe adjust the top part of the arm over here. Let's try that. Maybe I need to move the head down. Let's try that. What happens if we move the head? And we tilt it. I feel like that looks a little better. Alright, now we can see how well this is going overall. Okay. It's getting there. Alright, next keyframe. Let's see where this is gonna go. Where does he settle? Right about there. Add a keyframe. And we're going to take this shoulder and bring it back a little bit. Move it over just a slight. More like that. Keep this hand where it is. One of the challenges with 2D versus 3D is, you know, trying to get things to feel like they've got real weight to them. With 2D, it's a little easier with, you know, deciding like if a limb is going to bear weight, getting it to actually look like it's doing it, because you can easily like squish it, stretch it, all that kind of stuff. But with a 3D rig, if you're trying to get it to cooperate and hold in one place and squish and stretch, that can be a real pain. Alright, so we got him sitting there. And now this leg comes over and across. Like that. I'm just going to get the overall shape first. And like I said, this is a study, so you know, there are animators who worked on the scene who already figured out all the hard stuff. What I'm doing is kind of like if you were dissecting an animal, like seeing how all the pieces go together. That's exactly what I'm doing as I'm looking at the keyframes of the scene and seeing, okay, where did they let the character come to a settle? Where did they allow a weight shift? How quickly do they move between this pose to that pose? All that kind of stuff. So. But it's fun to do. And a lot of times, I mean, in general, I learn better when I do something versus when I just watch something. And so, this is a great way for me to improve. Bring that chin down a little bit. Now his ear actually begins coming up again. I mean, I have animated my own stuff in the past, yeah. All right, let's take a look. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, he comes in and yeah, he settles into that. So his other leg spins out. Okay, let's see. So it's still looking okay if I hit play. Obviously, it'll need like a in between to help it transition a little better, but I think it's looking like he's at least shifting his weight a little bit that way. Let's see. I think I'm gonna do the final pose, and then anything I add from here out will just be like a shift to that pose, you know. this air goes up this way. Why isn't this working? There we go. Now it's working. Oh, I love the Looney Tunes. Yeah. Did you see the day the Earth blew up? Nice. Yeah, the day the Earth blew up was really, really funny. I really enjoyed that one. Cool. Alright, let's see it. We'll extend it for a little bit so we can actually see the final spot. I mean, needless to say, there's a lot more in-betweens that I haven't animated yet. But I think it's coming along. It's fun. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, one thing I forgot to do with that last frame. I forgot to draw the inner color separation there. There we go. I think I got all this other stuff. Yep. Oh. Cool. I'll give him a little bit of a shading over here. Why not? Okay, now we'll play it again. Alright, let's do one more frame where we get the transition to this pose. Back here. So we'll grab this one. Move it there. Add a keyframe here. And this part is called in-betweening. that. Yeah, I mean, I agree that, you know, I prefer hand-drawn 2D animation over 3D most of the time. I think it just depends on the particular project. There are some things that it really makes sense to draw uh, by hand. Um, that doesn't mean it shouldn't be attempted, um, but there are certain things that I just feel lose so much when you don't have hand-drawn elements to them. So I'm gonna stick with my it depends on the project opinion. But when it comes to like being inspired and having uh, passion for animation, definitely 2D. That's where it comes from, at least for me. Speaking of 2D animation, if you're gonna do, in my opinion, if you're gonna do 2D, for most things, my preference would always be hand drawn like this. You know, either on paper or on a computer, but hand drawn, not just constructing a shape and clicking the fill button kind of a deal. Like, I like the idea of actually drawing each thing out. Alright, let's see how we did. Oh, see you, Dylan. Alright, so let's go ahead and play with some of the timing and spacing on here. Shrink you over, shrink you over. I like that. I think that's cool. Nice. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and save this. File, save. And I'll let it play a few more times. You can take a look at what got done today. So he's stepping up and turning and sitting himself down, but he never loses eye contact with what he's looking at. He blinks once or twice. There's definitely more I can add to this, but I think this gets the general idea out there. I'm not sure if next time I do an animation study if it's going to be continuing this, or if we've already kind of gotten enough out of this one to say, you know, that's it for now. If you're watching this on replay or you're watching this now and you have an opinion on it, leave it in the comment. If you want to see me take this even further and go in between some of these frames to smooth it out more, or if you'd rather just have me move on to something new and different, let me know. But having fun with this. It's been a blast, and I think 2 hours is good enough to go ahead and say that's enough for now. So I will catch you all in the next stream, whenever that will be, hopefully soon, maybe tomorrow, we'll see. Catch you in the next one. Bye everybody.